But has anyone ever thought on what's behind the process of making this scene of YouTube video casting? Okay. Today I'll be talking about the techniques that helped and changed the Disney animated features through the years. I have been researching this topic for about a week. I have been looking back at some behind the scenes on these beloved classics. Since Disney films have been popular from the first viewing of Snow White and to the recent film of Enchanted, I assume that everyone has watched these films and wondered how it's made. Today, I would like to discuss on the stepping stones that make the Disney films successful, from the hand-drawn animation down to the use of computer technology. The first thing is that I would like to show you the early innovation of animation. Disney's use of rotoscope made the early animated films a success in slow animation. What is rotoscope, you say? Rotoscope is when they take a live action filming of a model doing the scene or action, and then they trace the film cells over it and color it so it can be transferred to the camera. As you can see from this example of Snow White, there's the model, and after they filmed it, they traced over it, and there's the finished product. Why they use rotoscope? It's to give the animation of the character or person a realistic and human feel rather than the cartoon feel. After the release of Snow White and Cinderella, the rotoscope was later used for figure studies rather than actual retracing over. As you can see from the Sleeping Beauty screenshots. See, you still have the model, but if you look at the finished product, they don't quite look the same like the one from Snow White. Now that everyone knows that the initial progress of the classics, let's fast forward on to the recent progression of animation. The introduction of caps led on to more reliance to computer use rather than the traditional paint itself. According to Anna Swanson of CAPS, CAPS, short for Computer Animation Production System, is a program that allowed handmade animation drawings to be copied and colored electronically rather than actually hand painting all the cells. So basically, they don't need to use cells anymore. They all use it on computer. Even though the computer was only for coloring, the animators still need to hand draw all the structures of the characters and scenes. Like this model guide for Jasmine, for instance, you can see the structure, but the computer did the rest on coloring, shading of the character. Back to the scene of Beauty and the Beast I showed you. That you would think that all of that's by traditional animation, right? Well, actually, all of that is done by computer. There's even Belle and the Beast. Every CAPS allows the complex camera setups that are otherwise be too expensive and complicated to achieve with the traditional method. Like if we use the ballroom scene with all traditional animation, it would be hard to make the panoramic view of the ballroom, the sweeping motion of the ballroom scene. You wouldn't be able to see it 360-degree angles from it. Today, I have talked about the rotoscope and on early animation and the use of caps in the recent animated features. Even though the animation style changed through the years, we still enjoy these films from generations on. And as Disney himself once said, animation offers a medium of storytelling and visual entertainment which can bring pleasure and information to people of all ages everywhere in the world. Thank you.
Megan, what did you think?
I enjoyed the content of the speech. I thought it was interesting. I wasn't quite sure on what her thesis was. I heard two of them. I thought maybe the second one might have been a preview. I really liked that she defined the term. She broke down what the rotoscope was. I thought her visual aids were really effective in showing us what she was talking about. I appreciate that she didn't read straight off the paper, but I felt like she got lost at times and she could have benefited from a little bit more practice.
Okay. I think you rushed the opening a little bit, and maybe that's one of the reasons that the two things seem to be running on top of each other. But I did pick out your goal. I thought it was clearly stated, and there was a good preview. I'd agree that I like the definitions of the concepts that you talked about. You had a little bit of citation, but it was not very consistently throughout the presentation, and I know that you got the information from someplace, so don't be shy about sharing. Organizationally, the steps in the process are shown, and it's kind of chronological and topical put together. The signposting on it is okay. The visual materials, you illustrated concepts pretty well. I didn't think that they always got explained as well. I thought that the example of the rotoscoping was explained pretty well with the visual images that you had. The cap system was a little bit less clear. I didn't get much out of the Jasmine image that you had up there, and so I thought that you missed an opportunity to expand on the explanation there. The biggest problem I had with your presentation in terms of delivery was that you need to project a little bit more and you need to have some more energy. You sound like you are kind of thinking out loud about what the topic's going to be instead of talking to an audience, and so you've got to get that energy level up. And I'm going to point this out because I don't know that you're the only person who's done this today or even the first person who's done it today, but I know a few other people have done this. If you're not using the overhead, it should be moved. You know, you don't want to leave it sitting in the middle of the room. It's your room, so it's like pulling down the screen or turning on the projector. It's your responsibility to get the stage set for your presentation, and so it's a little distracting because it never becomes part of what's going on, and I feel kind of like you're hiding behind it. You know, we've got the podium and the overhead here, and you're back behind those things, and it just seems like it's a little defensive. It comes off, I think, in a negative way. All right, thank you. Brittany?